3, 2, 1. Hello, this is Bill Bullard with RCAF USA, the voice of the independent cattle producer in the United States of America. Well, this week, let's do a recap. Let's look and see how the U.S. cattle industry has fared now that about 6 months has lapsed in the year 2018. And let's start with the competitiveness of our marketplace to determine whether or not our antitrust laws are being properly enforced and whether the anti-competitive conduct is being properly prohibited. And we start with our request for an investigation up in the northeastern part of the United States. That's where a JBS plant temporarily closed its doors, and as a result, the only other major competitor in that region, Cargill, was able to scoop up cull cattle at fire sale prices. And we argued to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee and to the U.S. Department of Justice that this is evidence of market failure. When one packer can close its doors for whatever reason, and that action alone causes cattle prices to fall, then that's evidence that the marketplace is broken, that the structure of our industry is in serious trouble and needs to be fixed. So we're awaiting a response to that request right now. Then we move to our other request that we had made in early 2016 regarding the inexplicable price collapse that we experienced in our industry in the year 2015. And the U.S. Government Accountability Office recently issued its report, and it said that there were a number of factors in play causing cattle prices to collapse. Among them, they said, was increased imports as well as market power, because the government found that in areas where there were few cattle buyers, those cattle buyers could exert market power and cause cattle prices to decline. Now, the government was quick to add a caveat and saying, but that this issue alone did not indicate that there were antitrust violations going on. So the report overall was rather muted, but nevertheless, it did acknowledge that we have problems in our industry, that we do have regions where there are few buyers, and as a result, cattle prices could be expected to be lower in those regions. Then we move to the Bayer-Monsanto merger. We objected to the U.S. Department of Justice and urged them to block this merger because Bayer is a part of what's called the Global Roundtable for Sustainable Beef. So Bayer has joined forces with the likes of Cargill, Tyson, JBS, Costco, McDonald's, and about 100 multinational corporations, all of whom want to control the cattle supply chain. They want to create a global supply chain so that the multinational meat packers can unilaterally decide from which country to source its beef and cattle, and the consumers in any other country would never know the difference. So these groups of multinational corporations do not want any country to hold itself out as a producer of a superior product, like we are here in the United States of America. And so when Monsanto now joins with Bayer, that will further strengthen Bayer's ability to dictate the terms of production to U.S. cattle producers across the United States. We are very disappointed that the Justice Department has allowed that merger to go through. Then we argued to the Justice Department and the Senate Judiciary Committee that they need to block the Marfrig purchase of our fourth largest beef packer, National Beef Packing Company. Marfrig, like JBS, is a Brazilian company. We argued this is a danger to our economic security and to our national security. We should not allow the Brazilians to own and control about 36% of our fed cattle marketing outlets. That, we said, is a danger to the competitiveness of our industry, and again, it threatens our economic and national security. We are very disappointed that the Justice Department has allowed that merger to go through. But then here's some potential good news. The USDA issued its Consumer Price Index and said that beef prices this year are above last year and well above the 5-year average. That should be good news, shouldn't it? Well, let's look at cattle prices. If we look at the second quarter of 2017, fed cattle prices were at about $128. Where are they at this week? About $114. So what gives? Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at our industry and say if you have 4 dominant meat packers controlling 85% of a market that covers the full expanse of the United States of America, then it is more likely than not that these packers will abuse their dominant positions and exploit cattle producers in our industry And unfortunately, that's what's happening. With that, we hope you have a productive week. We're going to continue working on these issues, and goodbye.